Hello everyone, I'm Shannon SLATTON in Golden Valley. Here's a look at your top stories.
Governor Tim Walz is continuing a small business listening tour, and on Thursday he came to Amazing Threads in Maple Grove, where the business owner says they wouldn't have survived without some of the state and federal resources.
I was able to get grants and a PPL, and that has helped tremendously. I don't know that we would be here without some of that, because being closed for 3 months during a high season meant that we didn't have any customers, but we had lots of yarn. And I think the small businesses have been hard hit. We don't have any traceability here. Our population is teens through 90s that comes, and we just hope that they're going to come back.
The owner of Amazing Threads in Maple Grove says she still doesn't have her full staff back and that her business had to get creative by offering classes virtually. Over the next few weeks, the governor will meet with other small businesses to hear how they've been impacted by COVID-19 and also what resources worked for them. He adds that he's working on presenting a balanced budget to the legislature in January to figure out how to fix a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit.
The federal government deficit spends to finance that fight. That's what's happened so far in the fight against COVID-19, but that comes to an end. But the fight's not over. So for us, we're really advocating, and I know that the business partnerships, the chamber, others are advocating trying to have the federal government put a package together, especially around small businesses.
Governor Walz says the state's infectious rate is about 5.4%, and the rate for community spread is 40%, which will drive cases up. He says right now they're just trying to find that sweet spot between being open and staying safe. Reporting in Maple Grove, PAFOUA Yang, CCX News.
Many people are facing food insecurity due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A Golden Valley nonprofit is helping to keep pantry stocked as it rallies for end-of-the-year fundraising dollars.
This has been a really challenging year for PRISM.
The Northwest Metro nonprofit has seen a 50% increase in the number of people using its food shelf.
Pre-COVID, we saw about 900 visits to the food shelf every single month. Last month in August, we saw 1,350 visits to the food shelf.
ALISHA Olson with PRISM says the pandemic not only impacted those facing food insecurity, it also affected donations.
We typically see a lot of food drives with businesses or our faith partners or schools. And with those agents or with those organizations not being in person, being virtual, it's hard to host a food drive.
PRISM officials say at the beginning of the pandemic, the community answered the need for help. But since that time, donations are slowing down.
We've definitely seen a decline overall in our donations. Luckily, we've still been in a really great place where it hasn't had to impact our operations or the services that we've been able to provide.
The nonprofit adapted to its new normal, changing the way it typically would bring in food donations.
We have an Amazon wish list as well as a Target registry. And that's a great way for people that really want to feel like they're giving food. They can purchase items off of our wish list and have them shipped directly to PRISM.
And for the first time, PRISM is taking part in the 2020 Walk to End Hunger virtual fundraiser.
We just want you to join us as we really raise some awareness about hunger in our community, while also raising some much needed funds to keep our organization sustainable through this pandemic.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Gallery 5004 in Robbinsdale is celebrating their 7th annual Fall Minnesota Masters Show,
which is always an exciting show each year for us, where we get to feature some of the most distinguished artists from Minnesota over the past century.
The gallery specializes in accomplished Minnesota artists, usually from the past, such as Cameron Booth, Dewey Albinson, Ada Wolf, Joe Lutz Rollins, Bernie Quick, and many more.
There's probably over 25 Minnesota artists that we're showcasing in this show.
There's a great variety of art featured, from oils and acrylics to mixed media, glass and bronze sculpture, and ceramics.
This is a Dewey Albinson oil on canvas painting. It has one of his original frames on it, which is always kind of cool because he liked to make frames for his artwork.
Every piece has significance and a story.
The significance of this piece is he was definitely a Minnesota artist. He loved to do landscapes in Minnesota. He'd do a lot of northern Minnesota landscapes. But what he did in 1938 and 1939 is he moved his entire family up to Quebec, Canada. And this piece happens to be called Village in the Laurentians.
A unique time in Albinson's life.
This particular oil on canvas painting is done by Richard Sussman, and Richard was a professor at the University of Minnesota for many, many years, and he was more known for his watercolor paintings, and we have a couple of those in this show also.
It's called Chipper, and if you stop in the gallery, Tim can tell you why. Minnesota Masters will be on exhibit through October 10th. The gallery will be open on Saturdays and Sundays from noon to 4 p.m. For Weekend Showcase in Robbinsdale, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Practices for the shortened fall high school volleyball season started Monday. As Jay Wilcox reports, there's a lot of excitement in the Maple Grove program.
Whirlwind is the word Maple Grove volleyball coach JAMISON Gray is using to describe the quick transition to having a fall volleyball season. That's after the Minnesota State High School League had earlier decided to push the season to spring 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and then change course September 21st. But it's exciting too.
I was really excited. It's great that we get to come back into the gym and just play with your teammates like it was almost a normal season.
It was definitely a surprise. After the first initial cancellation of the season and moving it to the spring, it was definitely surprising that they set up another meeting and they finally approved it. So now we're scrambling to get a season and it's just so exciting to be here.
When the vote happened and pulled it back, it was just an immediate adrenaline rush and kind of the let's go. We get a chance to give these girls something that they had kind of lost hope of.
Gray is in his first full season as head coach, but has been in the Crimson program. A lot of details for tryouts and practices had to be ironed out, and the coaching staff needed to be refilled.
We had actually gotten ourselves ready to go. We had a full staff, but when they pulled the season back from the spring, I actually lost 3 coaches that we were planning on having. So over the course of the last week, I've literally had to rehire 3 coaches for the program. I feel very good about our choices.
It's not really that much different. We've all been around JAMISON and he's been part of the program for a few years, so it's just him taking another step forward. And
Maple Grove has a very experienced team led by Minnesota recruit Skylar Gray, a dynamic senior outside hitter. It'll be a different kind of season, but potentially a very good one for the Crimson.
We have 8 seniors, so we've all been around each other a lot, and then we have some really good sophomores and a really good junior. So our team, I think this year has a definite potential to take our conference.
There's always that hope at the beginning of the year where you're looking at potential, and I would say this team definitely has potential to be a front runner for the section.
Many of the players had been competing in fall club leagues, so it shouldn't take long for the Crimson to be ready to hit the court running. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
And as the volleyball and football seasons get ready to start, the Minnesota State High School League gave the green light for winter sports teams to play this coming season. The league's board of directors on Thursday approved shortened seasons for all winter sports with start dates for practices a little later than usual, all starting in either November or December. In general, regular season schedules will be reduced by 30%. A decision on state tournaments for winter activities will be made at a later time. The regular season is now over for one fall sport. Wayzata ran into a tough Lake Conference opponent earlier this week.
In girls tennis, Wayzata hosting a very good Minnetonka team. One singles, Marion Stamen for Wayzata in the far court, Sarah Shabazz for Tonka. Shabazz gets the point on the volley winner. Later, Shabazz with a nice serve, and then she rips a forehand winner on her way to a straight set victory. One doubles, Jaden Halkus serves for Wayzata. Hannah Halkus punches the volley winner. Kelsey Phillips serves for Tonka, and then her deep backhand sets up the winner for Karina Elvestrom. And Tonka wins 6-love, 6-1 at one doubles. Number 2 singles, Wayzata's Greta Holmes puts a return deep in the corner and finishes the point with a forehand winner. Tonka's Annika Elvestrom slices a nice cross-court shot to set up a forehand winner down the line, and she wins 6-3, 6-3. Number 2 doubles, Emily Mendel serves for Wayzata. Emma Hawkinson punches the backhand volley and then smashes the next ball for a point. Maddie Pronzinski serves for Minnetonka, setting up the volley winner by Emily Medzu-Katie as the Skippers duo wins in straight sets. And Minnetonka wins the match over Wayzata 6-1.
Section tournament play begins this coming week for girls tennis teams across the state. That's all for sports. I'm John Jacobson.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.